ob stürmt oder schneit, ob die Sonne uns sagt, der Tag glühend heiß oder eiskalt die Nacht. Bestaubt sind die Gesichter, doch froh ist unser Sinn, ja unser Sinn. Es braust unser Panzer im Sturmwind dahin, ob stürmt oder schneit, ob die Sonne uns lacht, der Tag glühend heiß oder eiskalt die Nacht. Bestaunt sind die Gesichter, doch froh ist unser Sinn, ja unser Sinn. Es braust unser Panzer im
Sing.
dahin, ob stürmt oder schneit, ob die Sonne uns lacht.
Louder.
Der Tag glühend heiß oder eiskalt die Nacht. Bestaubt sind die Gesichter, doch froh ist unser Sinn, ja unser Sinn. Es braust unser Panzer im Sturmwind dahin, ob stürmt oder schneit, ob die Sonne uns lacht, der Tag glühend heiß oder eiskalt die Nacht. Bestaunt sind die Gesichter, doch froh ist unser Sinn, ja unser Sinn. Es braust unser Panzer im Sturmwind dahin.
So, I hope you liked it. I put a bit of effort into this. Before I say anything more, first let's talk about the song you heard, because certain people might get it wrong or don't have the right information regarding this song. This song is called the Panzerlied. I don't know if it's its official title or so to say, and it was a song used by the German tank crews in the Second World War, and it was also used in the war movie Die letzte Schlacht or Battle of the Bulge, which is an older war movie, and the song itself was a creation of an old melody from the 19th century, and the lyrics were written by First Lieutenant Kurt Wiel in 1935. And I will post a link in the video description, and I hope you read them, as it is then obvious that there are no real Nazi references to it, and it's a really catchy song, isn't it? So it really fits the tiger. Now, talking about the tiger, and yeah, so to say, my relation with the tiger, relation. This tank, you know, is one of the most popular tanks, if not the most popular tanks of the Second World War. And when it firstly was introduced in late summer 1942, there was basically no Allied anti-tank weapon that could handle the frontal armor of the Tiger, while its main armament, an 88 gun, was capable of destroying every enemy it faced at basically any distance. There were even reports of killed T-34s over 3 kilometers away, which is incredible. Of course, there were rare shots, but you know, the tank was capable to do so. And this was also a monster machine compared to the other tanks that the German army had available at this time, namely the Panzer IVs or the Panzer IIIs. Now, before tanks came into War Thunder, I played World of Tanks, like 8,000 battles, and of course I played the German tanks, and I had basically no idea what I was doing, but I learned quickly. And what I learned was that even being held down and angling right and, staying back, it really didn't help, and it had to do with its opponents. Now, the Tiger's armor is flat, and even angled, it's flat enough, and even angled, it's not thick enough to reliably save you. However, all those things I just mentioned help a lot. And it is also not a brawling machine, so for city fighting it's not that good. And also side scraping is impossible as the tank itself is just too wide. So there is always a bit of the frontal armor the enemy can shoot at without you being able to point the gun at the enemy. All drawbacks aside, when War Thunder came out, the Tiger was different. It was faster, it had a better handling compared to its opponents. The gun, was much more damaging. I know you can't compare those two games, but it played so differently. I had much more chance in this tank coming off better in an engagement, and it also faces better enemies. Yet I think that in War Thunder it would help a lot to reduce the Tiger's battle rating to 5.3 and the Tiger's E-battle rating to 5.7. It has to do with fairness and also with the power creep. And yeah, while this tank was introduced in late 1942, its main opponent, or the opponent I faced the most, are Russian T-34-85s that have beginning a battle rating of 5.0 in numerous versions. Guns that easily can one-shot you, not just from the side but also from the front, even when you're angled. And first of all, the T-34-85 was introduced in January 1944, where production began, and I don't understand why a tank that was built 1.5 years later has a lower battle rating while having actually better usable performance. And I'm talking here about the suspension and the gun handling. First of all, the gun handling on a T-34 is just marvelous. The shell it fires contains more high explosive filling. The reload time isn't too much different. I think it's even better. And also the suspension. When you come to a halt to aim at your opponent, the T-34 makes one whip and it stands still and you can aim perfectly. And with the Tiger, you rock forward and backward like 3 times, and when you're finally coming to a halt, you think you can aim properly, you pull the trigger, and exactly at that moment you get another little whip that just throws off your aim and your shot misses, and the shot that gets fired back then kills you. Also, the circumstances are different, and I'm not even talking about that you, in arcade at least, you have to face King Tigers where you have literally no chance in a head-on engagement, and you face them often. They are in the Tiger H1. In the Tiger E, you have the option of getting access to a PCR that does have enough penetration to challenge the King Tiger H's frontal turret armor. But still, it's really not a fair fight, and yeah, I think I like the Tiger much more than in War Thunder than I did it in World of Tanks. And I also think that it is a bit unnerved in War Thunder. It goes faster, it accelerates faster, it even turns faster. It's not so strangled by stats like in World of Tanks. It really felt strangled to me. But again, the circumstances that the tank finds itself on a regular basis are not very comfortable. You don't have the long range engagements, you don't face the enemies this tank was fighting by a large portion. I mean, the T-34 76, you know, the 1942 version, never sees this tank. Even with a maximum up tier, it never sees it. That's just not fair. While this tank does have ammunition later on that can penetrate it, and we're comparing here a heavy tank to a medium tank. Keep that in mind. But this is not a ranting or some discussion about certain bias things. It's just my daily observation when driving this tank. Overall, I think it's a good tank, and it really performs good in a squad. But it is not a wonder weapon, and there are two things I want to talk about before ending this rambling, so to say. First of all, the circumstances are not the same, so you have to say this is a game with short range engagements where you actually have to change positions, you have to go into cap circles. Enemies can respawn, they come from different angles, you often have no support, and the battlefield is historically not accurate. No map in War Thunder is historically accurate. Kursk was kind of historically accurate, but still way too small, and I think one of the strengths of War Thunder is the long-range engagement, and I really don't like the recent changes to the spotting mechanic. Even in arcade, it's so different for the last few weeks. And then the next thing is the people actually driving the Tiger. Now, the people historically driving the Tiger were highly trained tank crews that had a lot of experience driving Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs, and they had excessive training, and they knew the limitations of their tank, and they drove it much more carefully, so to say, and that's a big difference. So keep that in mind, Still, both variants have to be reduced in battle rating by 0.3 in my opinion. Then it would be a good tank while not being overpowered. And I still have no idea why the T-34-85s have such a low battle rating. For a medium tank, they are, in my opinion, performing too good game-wise. So that's basically it. Let's go on with the gameplay, shall we? So here we are on Eastern Europe in a domination match, and I actually like Eastern Europe. Not for every tank, but I think overall it's a good map, and it's actually quite challenging because on this version we have 3 capture zones on the right side of the river, and the enemy team and also our team can really influence the battle hard by positioning a few tanks, preferably some light tanks or quick medium tanks, on the other side of the river, and then they can put flanking fire into the defending or advancing forces of the enemy team. So I ignored the first cap circle, and I make this house my best friend, as it provides me with excellent cover, both for visual cover and for cover from shooting. And there is just a small area from behind where the enemy can shoot me. So I critted this Hellcat a lot, and then I finish him off with my machine gun. Yeah, the commander was the last one alive, and also this Sherman found the same fate, as it was my second kill. Then I go a bit forwards while being angled, and yeah, this was one of the unluckiest shots in a long time. The enemy Tiger braked hard and whipped forward, and I actually shot the upper part, and I see a second Tiger, and let's see what happens. First one gets taken out. The second one doesn't see me, and hit in the ammunition rack blows him up. Third kill. I don't know if the enemy team knows that I'm here, and this is the point where a lot of players make a big mistake. They then advance alone. So I see that this T-34 takes out the enemy that was on the other side of the building, and I risk a look around the corner. Artillery fire upon me. The T-34 seems to engage the enemy tank behind this building and takes him out. So this is when I go around the corner and I check again. Yes, he is dead. And I don't go around this corner as I would be exposed to, or I should not go around this corner as I'm exposed to flanking fire. But at the moment nobody is spotted on the enemy team, and another Sherman struggles with a trench. So yeah. He was an easy target. Then I finally get in the corner that provides me with optimal cover, so to say. I brake before peeking around the corner while casually finishing off this KV-85. And I did it because I had to rotate my turret. So the Hellcat received a big hit. I take out the commander again, and then for some bizarre reason I have a really long reload, and as you can see there's currently a bug going on. Another kill. This is my 6th kill, by the way, where it doesn't show all the modules and the crew inside the turret. So I have a look. And there is nothing coming around, but again I don't want to overextend, and I see that this guy has fired, and yeah, then I decide to shoot the jumbo. Is it a jumbo? Can't quite see it here. Yeah, but it wasn't enough to finish him off. Then I decide to shoot the Su-152 because I know that the jumbo does have a bad time against my frontal armor when I'm angled. So he got taken out. I finish off the Su-152. This is my 7th kill. I see that there is a target around the corner, and in fact it is a Tiger. So then I take my chances, and he gets a shot in the lower plate, then gets taken out. Then I see this IS-2, and he knows he's a big threat. I thought he had fired. I come around the corner, can't get my gun onto him. I have to get off this position. I aim at him. He's not there in position. I look around, and then I make something stupid. I correct my position in front of an IS-2, and we both take each other out. 8 kills. So yeah, at this point I was not very amused, but even if my tank had it been angled, it wouldn't have made a big difference in my opinion, as it is a 122 millimeter gun. I take the Panther D, and yeah, we were about to win really good, and I really want this victory. I try to support my team, and here we can see that the Panther actually isn't slow. In fact, it's rather quick, isn't it? And also the turret armor looks really nice, but it doesn't help that much. If you have ever wondered what is it with the red light in my aiming circle, you can go into options, and there is an option for switching the crosshair lights on. So I really think it helps a lot, and it also looks cool. But mostly it helps a lot to find your aiming reticle when fighting on snowy maps, or yeah, when you have a black background. In my opinion, it really helps. Well, I tried. But then I see the guy that took me out, and I tried to prepare. That braking is really painful. Yeah, I can't get my gun onto him, but I prepare myself. I expected him to go around this corner. I see this Sherman, and yeah, against such targets, this gun is just awesome. And I could take my second shot relatively safely. Strangely, I didn't get the kill, but yeah, whatever. I see this tiger, I have to brake, and this time I make again a perfect shot. Yeah, so pretty good result. 9 kills, winning the game, and just losing 1 tank. I think that's a good result. It was in fact the second battle after I throw out the Tiger E out of my lineup, and I immediately felt the improved matchmaker. It really makes a difference. So let's have a quick look at the post-battle results screen. For 9 kills, I got 53,000 silver lines with a premium account and 3,636 research points. As far as I know, there were no boosters applied. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like below, and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and see you next time.